Good afternoon, students. This is Rachna, Assistant Professor Community Health Nursing in Metro College of Nursing. So today we will talk about National Immunization Program. First of all, what are vaccine preventable diseases? So, an infectious disease for which an effective preventive vaccine exists. These are called as vaccine preventable diseases. If a person dies from it, the death is considered a vaccine preventable death. Okay, then what are the diseases which comes under VPDs? These are tuberculosis, diphtheria, pertussis, poliomyelitis, measles, tetanus, hepatitis B, Japanese encephalitis. When you will call up a child fully immunized, when a child who received one dose of BCG, 3 doses of TPT and OPV, and one dose of measles before 1 year of age, he is to be called as fully immunized child. Okay, this gives a child the best chance of survival. What is the difference between control, elimination, and eradication? Reduction of prevalence or incidence of disease to lower acceptable level is called control. Elimination, when we eradicate a disease from a large geographical region or political jurisdiction, it is called as elimination. Either reduction of infectious diseases prevalence in regional population to zero, or reduction of global prevalence to a negligible amount. Okay, then eradication. What is eradication? When there is termination of all transmissions of infection by extermination of infectious agent through surveillance and containment. So the reduction of infectious disease prevalence in global host population to zero, then it is totally eradicated. Okay, so what are the milestones in the immunization program? In 1978, expanded program of immunization EPI introduced after smallpox eradication. Under that, BCG, DPT, OPV, typhoid were introduced, and it was limited to mainly urban areas. In 1985, UIP introduced expanded to entire country in rural areas as well. So in that, measles was added. In 1986, National Technology Mission was introduced, and the objectives were monitoring immunization under PMO's 20-point program, improve coverage with existing antigens, and develop self-sustainability in vaccine production. In 1990, vitamin A supplementation was added. In 1992, under CSSM program, Child Survival and Safe Motherhood program, the focus was given on immunization. Okay, in 1995, India firstly conducted National Immunization Day for polio eradication. In 1997, under Reproductive and Child Health Program and National Polio Surveillance Project was also launched as WHO and Government of India collaboration. So under Reproductive and Child Health Program, again the focus was given on immunization. And 2001, National Technical Advisory Group NTAG on immunization was formed in India. And 2005, National Rural Health Mission NRHM, under that again the focus was mainly on immunization. Then expanded program on immunization EPI, we will discuss it. So EPI was launched in 1974. It was built on smallpox infrastructure, and the targeted 6 diseases were diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, DPT, polio, hepatitis, and measles. And EPI progressively adopted by all countries universally by early 90s. Okay. So what does the expanded mean? Expanding the number of diseases to be covered. Second, expanding the number of children and target population to be covered. Thirdly, expanding coverage to all corners of the country and spreading services to reach the less privileged sectors of the society. Okay, so expanding number of disease, expanding the number of target population, expanding coverage to entire country. Okay, so this was the original EPI infant schedule. Addition to EPI, yellow fever was also added in 1988 for endemic countries only. 33 in Africa, 11 in South America. Then yellow fever vaccine was given with measles vaccine under that, and hepatitis B in 1992 was added in high seroprevalence countries by 1995. Seroprevalence is the number of person in a population who test positive for a specific disease based on serology. Okay, in all countries it was added by 1997. Haemophilus influenza type B vaccine was introduced in 1998 based on disease burden and capacity, and it was expanded in all countries by 2006. EPI in India. The government of India launched its EPI in 1978, and there was introduction of BCG, OPV, DPT and typhoid paratyphoid vaccines under that. The objectives were to reduce mortality, morbidity resulting from VPDs, vaccine preventable diseases, and second objective was to achieve a self-sufficiency in vaccine production. The target was to cover at least 80% infants. As vaccination was offered through major hospitals and largely restricted to urban areas, so coverage remained low. In 1981, typhoid paratyphoid vaccine was dropped from EPI due to considered higher reactogenicity and low efficacy of the vaccines, and also it was perceived the reduced burden of typhoid disease in the country, so this typhoid paratyphoid vaccine was dropped from EPI. In 1983, tetanus toxoid vaccine for pregnant women added in EPI. So comes to Universal Immunization Program, UIP. It was launched on 19th of November 1985 in remembrance of then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, Mrs. Indira Gandhi. The objectives of UIP: first one, to increase immunization coverage, then to improve quality of service, third, to achieve self-sufficiency in vaccine production and manufacturing of cold chain equipments, fourth is to establish reliable cold chain equipment and establish a good surveillance network, then to introduce a district-wise system monitoring and evaluation, sixth, to train health personnel. India has one of the largest UIPs in the world in terms of the quantities of vaccines used, number of beneficiaries covered, geographical spread and human resources involved. Under the UIP, all vaccines are given free of cost to the beneficiaries as per national immunization schedule. All beneficiaries can get themselves vaccinated at the nearest government or private health facility or at an immunization post, that is Anganwadi center or other identified sites near to their village or urban locality on fixed days. The UIP covers all sections of the society across the country with the same high quality vaccines. So what are the components of UIP? There are two components of UIP. First is immunization of pregnant women against tetanus, and second is immunization of children in their first year of life against 6 VPDs, vaccine preventable disease. What are the aims and targets of UIP? to achieve 100% coverage of pregnant women with 2 doses of TT, tetanus toxoid, at least 85% coverage of children under 1 year with 3 doses of DPT, OPV, and 1 dose of BCG and 1 dose of measles by March 1990. Then target was increased to cover 100% of infants as the vaccination program became universalized in geographical coverage. So UIP was first started in 31 selected districts with plan to scale up to additional districts. Goal 1. There are certain goals of UIP that has to be achieved. So first one is districts will provide efficient and safe immunization services to all infants and pregnant women. The objectives were regular quality immunization sessions are planned and held. Adequate trained staff are empowered to provide quality immunization service. Annually upgrade cold chain inventory according to levels of network. Implementation of safe injection practices and waste disposal. The strategies under goal 1 were coordination between national and state level, printing and supply of normal operational guidelines, strengthening of supervision, prioritization of underserved population within districts, strengthening training of all categories of staff or healthcare personnel involved, then timely supply of vaccines and ensuring quality control of vaccines. Goal 2. Goal 2 was to contribute global polio eradication, measles mortality reduction, and neonatal tetanus elimination. The objectives were polio eradication certification by 2007, elimination of neonatal tetanus by 2009, reduction in measles mortality by 2/3 compared to 2000 estimates by 2010. Achieve and maintain 70% coverage of 2 doses of vitamin A to children under 3 years. The strategies of goal 2 was first one, routine immunization for polio, supplementary immunization activities, AFP surveillance, increasing the reporting and action on cases, safe delivery practices, strengthening measles vaccination and surveillance and response to outbreaks. The third goal of UIP was UIP will have sufficient and sustainable funding with established, adequate, accountable, efficient fund flows. Okay, objectives were adequate and reliable financial resources at national, state, and local levels for the UIP to achieve goals and objectives. Second is political commitment for adequate annual funding at all levels. The strategies were strengthening national financial planning and building partnership. Fourth goal was to sustain demand and reduce social barriers to access immunization services. Objectives were widespread support by families and communities. Second, all eligible children and pregnant women are immunized. And third, high level political and administrative support. The strategies were coverage with print electronic media. And second, improve interpersonal communication. The goal 5th was accelerated introduction of licensed new and underutilized vaccines against diseases with significant mortality and morbidity in India. The objectives were institutional mechanisms in place to adequately obtain, review, and utilize information for deciding on introduction of new and underutilized vaccines. Second, review need for MMR or MR vaccines in India's immunization program. Third, phased introduction of hepatitis B The strategies used were to improve coordination between the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, research institutions, NRI development partners, surveillance and training. Goal 6 was to monitor and use accurate, complete and timely data on vaccine preventable diseases, AEFI's antigen coverage and dropout rates by districts. So the objectives were institutional surveillance for VPDs and early detection of any outbreaks, strengthened vaccine quality and injection safety by developing monitoring system for reporting and responding to adverse events following immunization by 2009, effective, efficient, complete and timely immunization, local recording and area monitoring system by 2009. So these were the 6 goals of UIP. Now, what are the channels of service provision for immunization? So, immunization services are provided through the existing healthcare delivery system, that is MCH center, maternal and child health care centers, PHCs, primary health centers, CHCs, community health centers, hospitals, dispensaries. So, additional national efforts taken are launch of immunization strengthening projects, urban measles campaign, border district cluster strategies, celebration of immunization weeks, National Technical Advisory Group on Immunization and TAGI was formed in 2001. The adverse events following immunization reporting has been made a part of UIP since 1985. So, first documented AEFI report and guidelines published in 1988, guidelines revised and widely disseminated in 2005-6. So, if we want to close the immunization gap, what 3 steps we have to take? First, integrate immunization with other health services. Okay. Second is to strengthen health systems so they can continue vaccination programs through crisis. And third, ensure vaccines are both accessible and affordable to all. So this is how we can close the immunization gap. So this is VVM, vaccine while monitoring. So how do we do that? There is a square on this vial. There is a circle, under that there is a square. Okay, जो outer है, outer में बना हुआ है that circle, और उसके अंदर जो बना हुआ है स्क्वायर. जब स्क्वायर का कलर स्टार्टिंग में क्या होता है, जब स्क्वायर का कलर होता है वो वाइट या बहुत लाइट होता है. ठीक है, जो आउटर जो सर्कल है वो डार्क होता है, स्क्वायर जो इनर साइड में है वो लाइट होता है. जब इनर जो स्क्वायर है आपका, उसका कलर या तो सर्कल के कलर के साथ मैच कर जाए, ठीक है, या उससे ज़्यादा डार्क हो जाए, तो जो है जो आपकी वैक्सीन है दैट वी डोंट हैव टू यूटिलाइज दैट, वो अब किसी काम की नहीं है. ठीक है, अगर वो स्क्वायर का कलर सर्कल के कलर से लाइट है तो तब तक हम उस वैक्सीन को यूज़ कर सकते हैं. ओके, सो दिस इज़ वैक्सीन वाइल मॉनिटर. The year 2012 or 13 was declared as year of intensification of routine immunization in India. So there was increased focus on improving coverage in identified 239 poor performing districts in India. So what are the components of the immunization micro plan? At sub-center level there is an estimation of beneficiaries कि कौन कौन जो है immunization कि किस किस को ज़रूरत है, बेनिफिशरीज़ कौन है, टारगेट पॉपुलेशन कौन है. एस्टिमेशन ऑफ वैक्सीन एंड लॉजिस्टिक, उसका एस्टिमेशन लगाएंगे. वर्क प्लान में क्या होगा, हु विल बी who will provide the services, ठीक है, who will assist in provision of services, जैसे कि आंगनवाड़ी वर्कर, आशा, सोशल मोबिलाइजर, ग्राम पंचायत मेंबर्स, NGOs etc. where will be the services be provided, जैसे कि सिलेक्शन ऑफ साइट्स, एंड व्हेन विल द सर्विसेज बी प्रोवाइड, प्लानिंग ऑफ सेशंस, कब कब जो है हमें कौन कौन से सेशन अप्लाई करने हैं, ये सब सेंटर लेवल पे. फिर PHC लेवल पे एन एरिया मैप विद विलेजेस, हैमलेट्स, हार्ड टू रीच एरियाज एट्सेट्रा एट द सब सेंटर लेवल. For the block level, the map includes sub-centers boundaries with alternate vaccine delivery routes and vaccine storage points. This has to be done at sub-center or PHC level. At PHC or district level, or you can say CHC or district level, a plan for supervision, a budget that includes the cost of transport, meeting, social mobilization and other activities, and IEC, information, education and communication, and training plans. Okay, this has to be done at CHC or district level. Then in micro planning for urban areas, mainly what issue arises, these are multiplicity of public health services with unclear demarcation of catchment areas, and the possible solution we can do is to map all administrative zones and wards with clear demarcation of catchment areas of various public health services service providers, for example municipal or health department, including all NGOs, private and charitable hospital, Anganwadi centers etc. Then second issue can be large slums with population unserved or underserved by public health services or ICDS, presence of multiple private sector health providers including NGOs and community based organizations. So what is the possible solution for that? Include all slums and other underserved areas. If there is a paucity of ANMs, hire alternate vaccinators. ठीक है, बाहर से हम हायर कर सकते हैं, इसमें प्राइवेट डॉक्टर्स हो सकते हैं, NGOs हो सकते हैं. Also involve local community based organization in social mobilization. If there is insufficient Anganwadi centers, plan sessions in schools, community based organization and youth clubs. ठीक है. Then what will be the third issue? ठीक है, overcrowding in slums. It might be possible that there will be overcrowding in slums. So what is the possible solution for that? Plan sessions for more frequently if required. So remind parents of these 4 key messages when you immunize a child, when you vaccinate a child. Firstly, what vaccine was given and what disease it prevents. कौन सी वैक्सीन दी गई है और कौन सी डिजीज़ के लिए दी गई है ये. Second, when to come for the next visit. Third, what are the minor side effects and how to deal with them. Fourth, to keep the immunization card safe and to bring it along for the next visit. So vaccination added according to recommendations given by NTAGI, National Technical Advisory Group on Immunization. So Government of India introduced 4 new vaccines under that. First one is rotavirus, second injectable polio, IPV, rubella and Japanese encephalitis. So this is IAP schedule. Vaccines that can be given after discussion with parents are varicella, hepatitis A, influenza vaccine, pneumococcal conjugate vaccine. So varicella was given on at 15th month, hepatitis A 18 month and 6 months later, influenza 6 months of age, pneumococcal conjugate vaccine PCV 6 weeks of age. Okay. Then if a dose is missed, Give the dose at the next opportunity irrespective of the time gap, and don't start the schedule all over again. If not a single dose was taken by any child, means the child is totally unimmunized. So this is the plan, this is the vaccination schedule of an unimmunized child. In first visit, if the child is less than 5 years, give him BCG, OPV, DPT, hepatitis B. Then if child is more than 5 years, in first visit give him TT or TD and hepatitis B. Second visit, 1 month later, give him OPV, DPT, HB. If he is more than 5 years, then give him TT and hepatitis B. Then at if again after 1 month, on third visit, if he or she is less than 5 years, give him or her OPV, DPT, MMR, typhoid. If more than 5 years, MMR, typhoid. 1 year later, in case of less than 5 years, give him OPV, DPT, hepatitis B. In more than 5 years, give him hepatitis B. Every 3 years, typhoid booster in both cases. Okay. So immunization in preterm infants, what we do, all vaccine is given except hepatitis B. If body weight is less than 2 kg and mother is HbSAg negative, postpone till baby attains 2 kg weight or 2 months of age. If baby weight is more than 2 kg and mother is HbSAg positive, give vaccine plus immunoglobulin. If children receiving any corticosteroids, remember, if children receiving corticosteroids at the dose of 2 mg per kg per day for more than 14 days should not receive live virus vaccine until steroid has been discontinued for at least 1 month. So this is the vaccination recommendation in HIV infected symptomatic and asymptomatic children. This is the recommended adult immunization schedule by vaccine and age group. I will share the slide with you, share this PPT with you, so you can easily go through it. Vaccines that might be indicated for adults based on medical and other indications. So these are some of the vaccines. What is the route, dose, age, okay, TT, BCG, hepatitis B, OPV, DPT, measles. So these are the constraints in vaccination or immunization program. Illiteracy of the community, non-uniform coverage, poor implementation, poor monitoring, high dropouts, declining coverage in some major states, over-reporting, poor injection safety, reorientation of staff being not carried out, vacancy of staff at field level not filled, poor surveillance of vaccine preventable diseases, poor vaccine logistics, poor maintenance of equipments, extraordinary emphasis on polio vaccine. So achievements, the biggest achievement of immunization program is the eradication of smallpox, and India is free of poliomyelitis caused by wild polio virus on 27th March 2014. India declared free of maternal and neonatal tetanus in June 2015 by WHO. Besides, vaccination has contributed significantly to the decline in the cases and deaths due to vaccine preventable diseases. Okay, then in this program, one more program has been introduced recently, that is Mission Indradhanush. So it was launched on 25th December 2014 by Government of India. The aim is to immunize all children against 7 preventable diseases by 2020. Diphtheria, these are the 7 preventable diseases: diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, DPT, polio, measles, TB, hepatitis. So these are the references, and thank you. So I hope you understand this topic, National Immunization Program. If any query, you can ask me anytime. Okay, this video I've recorded for BSc Nursing 4th year students. Thank you so much.